Hello and welcome to Galaxy TV's Primetime News. My name is Eribami Salako. We begin with headlines. Chief of Army Staff reiterates commitment of Army and other security agencies in the country to combat all forms of insecurity across Nigeria. Plus on the news, National Orientation Agency calls on Nigerians home and abroad to align themselves with ongoing value orientation program of the government. From the international scene, UN peacekeeping force in southern Lebanon says Israel tank forced its way into one of its positions early on Sunday morning, the latest in a series of incidents in recent days. Details of these and more coming your way soon. Do stay with us. Many thanks for joining us at this time. Now details of the news. The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Taoreed Lagbaja, has restated the commitment of the Army and other security agencies in the country to combat all forms of insecurity across Nigeria. Speaking during the inauguration of a forward operating base FOB in Egbe Yagba East Local Government Area, Lagbaja said the initiative was aimed at bolstering effort to combat insecurity and insurgency in Kogi State. Correspondent Kunle Ojo reports that the Chief of Army Staff, who was represented by the General Officer commanding 2 Division of the Nigerian Army, Major General Onubogo, highlighted significance of the project, noting its direct impact on the safety and well-being of the state's residents.
As the Chief of Army Staff, I make bold to say that it is through this kind of partnership and shared vision that the Nigerian Army is reassured that members of the civil populace appreciate our efforts in curbing insecurity across the nation. I must say that the construction of this new FOB is very timely, bearing in mind the operational and logistical challenges we faced during the recent rescue of kidnapped students of the Complex University of Technology, Kogi State, who were rescued from the forests adjoining Egbe town. Drawing from that experience, I am confident that this facility will no doubt enhance military operations and overall security in Egbe and along the border between Kwara and Kogi states.
Speaking of the essence of the initiative, Senator Sunday Karim, representing Kogi West, who donated the facility, said it would play a pivotal role in improving security operations in the region. Senator Karimi explained that he funded the project to ensure the safety of the community and surrounding areas, including parts of Ekiti, Kwara and Osun State. He underscored that safeguarding lives and property is a constitutional duty of the government, but achieving this goal requires the active collaboration of citizens. The governor of Kogi State, Usman Ododo, represented by Special Advisor on Security, Commander Jerry Omadar, retired, lauded the initiative by Senator Karimi, stating that the new base would strengthen the Army's ability to maintain security in the area.
The forest boundary between Kogi and Kwara has been an habitation for criminals. The people, our students in Kwara, in Kogi State University, that were kidnapped, they trekked and they were traced to forests around this area. You find out that kidnapping will be done in Ekiti, in Osun, in Ondo, and they will come around the forest, around this location, to come and collect their ransom.
The establishment of this forward operation base will serve to form a check of influx into Kogi State, provide the needed safety for our people, and also allow the Nigerian Army take firm control of the security of this area, including Yagba East and beyond.
The Nigerian Air Force is set to acquire another set of fighter helicopters to boost its combat capabilities. The aircraft are 24 M346 fighter ground attack jets and 10 AW109 Tracker helicopters. The service, out in June, disclosed that it should acquire 50 new aircraft to strengthen its capabilities against armed gangs and terrorists. Already, the service in the last 2 years are taking delivery of 12 Super Tucano, 2 additional DA-62 surveillance aircraft and T-129 ATAC helicopters and 2 Diamond 62 multi-purpose aircraft, among others. In a statement on Sunday, Director of Public Relations and Information, Nigerian Air Force Air Commodore Olushola Akimboyewa, said the Chief of Air Staff Air Marshal Azan Abubakar, along with officials from the Ministries of Defense and Finance, were in Italy to finalize acquisition of the jets. Akimboyewa noted that the Nigerian delegation at the meeting was told 3 of the 24 M346 will be delivered by early 2025, while subsequent deliveries would run through May 2026. Akimboyewa said the Air Chief also inspected the 6 M346 jets earlier purchased by the service from Leonardo, adding that 3 of the jets were almost completed. Akimboyewa noted that M346 jets have advanced features capable of both air-to-air and air-to-ground missions. He added that the M346 would significantly strengthen Nigeria's air combat capabilities. Akimboyewa also said the AW109 would boast combat support roles such as combat search and rescue, tactical airlift and medical evacuation, amongst others. The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency (NDLEA) has arrested a Thailand returnee, Simon Peter Ugwejiofo, for importing 13.30 kilograms of heroin worth more than 3.192 billion naira at Muritala Mohammed International Airport, MMIA, Ikeja, Lagos. The NDLEA spokesman Femi Babafemi said this in a statement on Sunday in Abuja. Babafemi said that NDLEA operatives intercepted large consignment of opioid with combined monetary value of more than 22.7 billion naira at 3 seaports in Lagos. He said that Ugwejiofo was arrested on Monday, October 7, while attempting to smuggle out of the airport the illicit drug concealed in 6 backpacks and then packed into 2 big suitcases. He added that the 29-year-old graduate of mechanical engineering from the Chukwuemeka Odumegu Ojukwu University, ULI, in Anambra State, had left Thailand on October 3rd on Qatar Airways flight and stopped over in Doha. This, he said, was where he spent 2 days before heading to Lagos, while his luggage was routed to Accra, Ghana, his original destination. After arriving in Lagos on October 5, he contacted the airline to reroute his luggage to Nigeria so that he can pick them up as rush bags in a bid to beat security checks. However, NDLEA officers intercepted him at the point of exit. A search of his 2 suitcases revealed 3 empty backpacks in each box with a large parcel of heroin neatly strewn to all the 6 backpacks. Ogun State Police Command has confirmed the gruesome murder of a 40-year-old man, Adeleke Adeyinka, at Jide Jones in Abeokuta yesterday. The command spokesperson, Omololo Odutola, made the confirmation in a statement made available to journalists in Abeokuta. Odutola stated that efforts were ongoing to apprehend the fleeing suspects. He explained that the incident occurred at 12:30 p.m. She noted that the perpetrators of the crime, who came in an unregistered Toyota Corolla sport car, fled the scene to an unknown destination. The police spokesperson explained that the investigation had commenced, assuring members of the public of routine patrol. The Nigeria National Petroleum Limited Company has finally agreed to permit toy marketers who operate under the auspices of the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria to commence the lifting of premium water spirit from its depot at a lower price. The Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority had also committed to issuing import and off-takers licenses to the oil dealers to either import fuel directly or purchase products straight from Dangote Refinery, in line with government plan to fully deregulate the oil sector. These came after association threatened to cease operations nationwide due to high costs associated with loading petroleum products from NNPCL facilities. Ipman had revealed on Thursday that the cost of petrol from Dangote Petroleum Refinery to NNPC was about 898 naira per litre, but noted that NNPC was selling the same product to independent marketers as 1,010 naira per litre in Lagos. The association, which controls over 70% of filling stations nationwide, kicked against this and threatened to down tools, as it also demanded a refund from NNPC for earlier petrol supply payment made by its members. The Ipman National President Abubakar Megandi, who spoke during a live interview on Thursday, argued that the price was higher than what NNPCL paid for the product from Dangote Refinery. He also noted the Independent Marketers Fund has been held by the National Oil Company for about 3 months. Now to other stories. The National Orientation Agency, NOA, has called on Nigerians home and abroad to align themselves with ongoing value orientation program of government that will help the situation in the country.
The approval of the nationalization of cartoon content in Nigeria to break the dominance of foreign cartoons in the country and to promote our values, cultures, heroes, and lifestyles. This will also encourage local cartoon content. Local cartoon content creators through various forms of government support to create jobs and develop the animation movie subsectors.
And we realize that this flawed character stems from the fact that we seem that over the years we have lost some of our core values, our traditional core values, those things that made us true Nigerians, those things that whatever part of the country you could go to, you'd be, we're kind of, they were the same, even if we were speaking the same, even if we speak different languages, like our anthem says.
The National Orientation Agency, NOA, called on Nigerians home and abroad to align themselves with the ongoing value orientation program of government that will help promote patriotism, discipline, integrity, and social justice in the country. The NOA Director General Larry Issa Onilu said this at the flag-off of NOA's National Identity Project with a focus on nationwide sensitization held at Abeokuta South Local Government Secretariat in Abeokuta, Ogun State. Represented by Shola Olowunyo, Director of Human Resources, she said government has approved that September 16 every year will not be observed as National Symbols Enlightenment Day towards restoration of dignity and standardization of the country's national symbols. She further said the federal government is giving approval of the nationalization of cartoon content in Nigeria to break the dominance of foreign cartoons in the country. On her part, the NOA Ogun State Director Funke Salako said the aim of the program is to reorientate and redirect Nigerians, regardless of class, ethnicity, or religion, towards the values and principles that have long been associated with the Nigerian culture. She said the introduction of the new national anthem and national values charter ushers is an important milestone for Nigerian national pride and identity. You're still on to the news on Galaxy TV. Coming up next. Tragedy unfolded in the area of Lagos when a 50-year-old man was killed by a moving train. Details of that and more coming after the break. Do stay with us. We are glad to have you back. Now, for more updates and latest news, please visit our website www.galaxytvonline.com. Connect with us on our X handle at Galaxy TV. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Galaxy TV News. You can follow and interact with us on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Galaxy TV. Remember to follow and tag us on our Instagram page at Galaxy TV. Our social media platforms are user-friendly and can always accommodate your live updates and comments, as you can easily scan our IG QR code. And to the story teased earlier, tragedy unfolded in Oshodi area of Lagos on Saturday when a 50-year-old man identified simply as Emmanuel was killed by a moving train. The incident reportedly took place near Arena Shopping Mall in Oshodi. The deceased sister, whose name remained unknown, told the police she received a phone call about 9 a.m. informing her that her older brother had been fatally struck by the train. The police public relations officer of Lagos State Command, Benjamin Udeyi, confirmed the incident in a statement, noting that the Musafaja division was notified around 1:33 p.m. and the team of detectives was immediately dispatched to the scene. And they also confirmed that the case has been transferred to the Railway Police Command in Ibute Meta for further investigation. While the exact circumstances remain unclear, a similar incident occurred in the Mushin area in August when another man was crushed by a train. The incident happened around 6 p.m. while the victim was walking across the Kappa railway tracks. The Lagos State Emergency Management Agency, LASEMA, through its spokesperson, stated that the victim was found dead at the scene, having sustained severe injuries from the collision. Okumbo added that the man was confirmed to have died instantly due to the impact of the crash. As part of measures to create opportunities in ensuring dividends of democracy is evenly distributed among the people, lawmaker representing Okwe, Uvwe and Sapele constituency in House of Representatives Honorable Ben Etanabena has empowered members of his constituent through the provision of sewing machine, laptops and commissioning of an ICT center at Efere in Uvwe local government area of the state. Correspondent Dele Fasson completes the story.
The beneficiaries, which were drawn from the three council areas of Okwe, Uvwe and Sapele local government area of Delta State, converged at the Our Lady School in Efron as the traditional ruler of Uvwe Kingdom, His Royal Majesty Abe I, commissioned the ICT Center after the presentations of laptops and machines to the beneficiaries, who will also be receiving monthly stipends for their businesses. The federal lawmaker spoke on his resolve to create opportunities rather than the old practice, as the beneficiaries expressed gratitude for the gesture.
This is part of my desire, to bring the dividend of democracy, to the grassroots, in my federal constituency. We want to shift from how it used to be with giving people stipends that will not last them for 24 hours into creating opportunities for them, that they can leverage on to making a living, for themselves, their family and their dependents. So today we built this ICT center from the scratch, equipped it with computers, and we are going to be using it. There's a batch going on presently. We are going to be using it every now and then to train young ones, this computer age, people, into proficiencies in.
God bless them. At least he knows and understands what Nigeria needs right now. Everybody needs to be empowered. It's not just about giving you stipends or giving you palliative of rice and stuff. With this one now, we can go home and generate revenue. So I think he did very, very well. He did real good. He's not just giving us the machine. He had promised to open a shop for us to start up.
I standing here, I appreciate him so much. He may not know what he has done, but he has done something great. Something no man, even your own blood cannot do for you. I want to say the good Lord to bless him, the good Lord to protect him.
The items will no doubt help to alleviate the suffering of the people in this time of economic hardship. From Delta State, Dele Fasson reporting for Galaxy TV News.
Not other stories, the Catholic Diocese of Yola has distributed food items to no fewer than 150 households affected by flood disaster in Boko Haram insurgency at Salama Housing Estate in Gire local government area of Adamawa State. The Bishop of the Diocese, Dami Mamza, said the items were donated in order to give succor to the displaced families, considering the debilitating impact of flood and drought which the state witnessed in the course of this year's rainy season, while appealing to residents not to sell the items. He also enjoined them to be self-dependent in view of the fact that they are no more considered as IDPs since they have been given accommodation and some incentive to begin a new life.
Give food materials to those internally displaced or those whose farms have been affected by the flood and by the drought this year. So most of these people, they may not be internally displaced, but their crops have been destroyed, their farmland has been destroyed because of the flood and also the drought that we had during the year. So it is a commemoration of the day for migrants, internally displaced and refugees that we are commemorating for the year 2024.
As at yesterday, if you come to this camp yesterday, people, when they heard the message that the food is coming, many of them we are dancing there, we are very happy. You know the hardship we have, many of them now today, they don't have anything to eat in their houses. Possibly today, majority of these people today will have food on their table here today in the camp. We are very happy.
The aim of hospice and palliative care is to mitigate the suffering of patients and their families with a comprehensive assessment and treatment of physical, psychosocial symptoms experienced by patients as death approaches. Medical experts say it helps people to manage physical symptoms, emotional stressors, and focus on patients' goal for care, values of what's important to them. These and more form the basis of a roundtable panel discussion with experts on palliative care organized by Center for Palliative Care Nigeria, University College Hospital Ibadan, with the theme 10 years since resolution. How far are we doing? Medical experts spoke one after the other to discuss and address issues why government and citizens should embrace the care for patients vis-a-vis the challenges, availability and accessibility of drugs and way forward. They encourage government, especially through the Federal Ministry of Health, to do more in terms of awareness and provision of infrastructural facilities.
A lot of people who are getting medical care were dying of a lot of pain and suffering that can be prevented. Our organization, CPCN, then went on to start training people who could use these medications properly, and we trained a lot of health professionals because the objective of the organization was to make sure that we have facilities in the country which include training, manpower, resources to be able to prevent pain and suffering.
Because palliative care actually came about from the experience of a nurse taking care of cancer patients. And she found out that the end of life care for these patients was not well managed, and she was deeply touched. And then she put in all she thinks could help the patients. And that began the journey of palliative care globally.
Within the precinct of the federal government law, because the drugs that are used, opioid particularly, they are controlled drugs. They are not just any drug that you can find anywhere. And that is why government restrict and control the availability. We have zonal collection center in the 6 geopolitical zones, in the south-south, southwest, southeast, and northeast, north-central. So that makes accessibility for this drug to be much more easier.
And by the time he is relieved, I'm relieved as well, because if he is in pain, the children would be disturbed. But when there was introduction of the palliative team, they came in, they placed him on oral morphine due to the renal issue that he had.
And still on health, as part of efforts towards understanding sexual reproductive health and safe abortion, the Ogun State government has been admonished to make available and publish enabling laws such as safe termination of pregnancy guidelines that protect reproductive rights. Executive Director, Center for Community Development, Family and Health Initiatives, made this note while speaking with newsmen after a media engagement training on sexual and reproductive health rights held in Ijebu-Ode, Ogun State. The Executive Director disclosed that cases of gender-based violence, violation of sexual and reproductive rights are underreported, hence the need for the training for the medical practitioner, for media practitioner. He added that if residents of the state are aware of what the law entails, incidences of violation of sexual and reproductive rights will be reduced drastically.
We are also suggesting that these laws should be made available on the Ogun State website where people can access it. We are producing various copies of these guidelines and also child protection law, both in English and Yoruba, that will be easily available to Nigerians. It is expected that it's going to make people to behave and respect humanity in female and in male gender. It is expected that the people will actually make use of the legal provisions so therein in Ogun State. It's also expected that people who want justice can approach the court and get justice for their deniers and their abuse.
As the political crisis and instability in Rivers State lingers, youth of the state have been advised to be patriotic and refrain from destruction of public property. The crisis, which has led to destruction of some council secretariats in the state, according to Patriotism Now movement, portends great danger for socio-economic and political development in the state. The national coordinator of the movement at the news conference described the development in Rivers State as appalling and disaster waiting to explode, thereby calling on parties involved, especially the youth, being used to sheath their swords in the interest of peace.
The youth in Rivers State need to wake up from their sleep and their slumbering. The properties that are being destroyed belong to the masses, belong to them. It is not government properties alone. It is people's property. It's not an individual properties. It is masses. Because all these properties are being built by the taxes and the VAT, even some loans being borrowed by the federal government, which is the masses who paid back. So, appealing to Nigerian youth in Rivers State to shun violence, to embrace peace and unity, to embrace patriotism. It is the right time for every Nigerian to come out and believe in Nigeria, that together we can make Nigeria great again. An American man will not come and make Nigeria, will not come and bring peace in Nigeria. If they do come at all, they have come here to even steal our resources.
The movement emphasized the need for the youth in Rivers State to wake up from their slumber, noting that the properties that are being destroyed belong to the masses. Its government properties are not in individual properties. It implored the warring factions and the youth to shun violence in Rivers State and embrace patriotism, which is the greatest platform for every citizen of Nigeria, as everyone needs to be patriotic now. Worried over high number of malnourished children and early marriage among young girls in Akile community in Makurdi local government area of Benue State, Focused Parenting and Youth Initiative for Development has called on Pure Biotech Company to support the community in combating menace as part of its corporate social responsibility to the people. The Executive Director for PAYET, Sarah Ingbayan, in an advocacy visit to Pure Biotech Company, disclosed this, where she requested for support towards the numerous health, social, cultural challenges facing both women and children in the community, as well as scholarship. The manager of Pure Biotech Company, Abdulkadir Mohammed, and the legal officer, Barrister Denin Tor, appreciated the delegation for their concerns and assured them that the issue will be looked at as discussed with management.
Support for pay, that is our office, in any way possible to be able to address the health needs of women, children, and other vulnerable members of the community. A lot of the children in this community and the women are under challenging health issues, and we believe that your own office can also give a lend a helping hand in order to solve these issues.
We are going to discuss with our MD, which is the top management. We are going to discuss with them and hear and explain all what you have said now. It's a very good initiative to save life, to convey the message back to you by God's grace.
Now it's time to do a reminder of news that made headlines during the week. Track of the Week is up next. Welcome to Tracking the Week. On Monday, President Bola Tinubu called on Governor Siminalayi Fubara, political leaders and their supporters in Rivers State to exercise restraint and uphold the rule of law. In response to recent tensions following last Saturday's local government council election, the president expressed deep concern over reports of arson and explosions in the state. Bayo Ononuga, Special Advisor, Information and Strategy, in a statement said the president also urged all political actors to de-escalate the situation and discourage their supporters from engaging in violence or destructive actions. Ononuga said President Tinubu directed the police to restore and maintain peace, law and order immediately, while instructing law enforcement agencies to bring the situation under control. The president emphasized the need to ensure the security of public institutions. He said President Tinubu said government facilities built with public funds must be safeguarded from vandalism, stressing that self-help has no place in a democratic system, especially after 25 years of continuous democracy. The president said the judiciary can settle all political disputes and the outcome of the election should be no exception. Also on Monday, the Senior Staff Association of Statutory Corporations and Government-Owned Companies, an affiliate of the Trade Union Congress representing employees of the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, has initiated an indefinite strike due to unresolved promotion controversies and welfare concerns. The decision to strike comes after multiple meetings with NAFDAC management yielded no positive outcome regarding critical issues affecting staff. The aggrieved workers expressed that their grievances have now been addressed, prompting the drastic action. According to the communique issued on October 4, 2024, the workers outlined several key issues that remained unresolved. The communique emphasized that the Congress, after thorough discussion, unanimously resolved to embark on an indefinite nationwide strike across of NAFDAC formation, commencing Monday, 7 October 2024. On Tuesday, the Supreme Court fixed October 22 for the hearing of a suit filed by no fewer than 16 state governments challenging the constitutionality of the laws establishing the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) and two others. A seven-man panel of justice led by Justice Uwani Abba Aji fixed the date after the states were joined by co-plaintiff and leave granted for consolidation of the case in suit originally filed by the Kogi state government through its Attorney General. Correspondent Kole Ojo reported that the states that joined in the suit include Ondo, Edo, Oyo, Ogun, Nasarawa, Kebbi, Katsina, Sokoto, Jigawa, Enugu, Benue, Anambra, Plateau, Cross River, and Niger. The 16 states are relying on the fact that the Constitution is a supreme law and any law that is inconsistent with it is a nullity. The plaintiff argued that the Supreme Court in Dr. Joseph Nwobike v. Federal Republic of Nigeria has held it was a United Nations Convention against corruption that was reduced into the EFCC Establishment Act, and that in enacting this law in 2004, the provision of Section 12 of the 1999 Constitution as amended was not followed. Also on Tuesday, Justice Emeka Nwite of the Federal High Court Abuja declared Douglas Abure as the substantive chairman of the Labour Party. Delivering judgment, Justice Nwite affirmed the Abure-led leadership and the March 2024 Nilwe Convention that produced the national leadership. Justice Nwite further ordered the Independent National Electoral Commission to recognize Abure as the legitimate chairman, overriding the Commission's earlier stance that Abure leadership was invalid. The court urged that the defendant's attempt to impeach the validity of the leadership of the plaintiff fails, adding that the plaintiff has proved this case. Justice Nwite issued an order compelling the defendants to accord the plaintiff political party under the leadership of Barrister Julius Abure all the rights and privileges accorded the political party duly registered in Nigeria. INEC had argued that the Labour Party's National Convention violated the Nigerian Constitution and Electoral Act and that the party failed to meet legal requirements for holding the convention. On Wednesday, the Senate had declared its support for the judgment of the Supreme Court, which granted total autonomy to local government councils in Nigeria. At the regional plenary of the Senate on Wednesday, the upper chamber deliberating that the motion has moved a development that forced the plenary into a closed session. After the executive session of the House, the Senate came up with two prayers and declared its total support for the judgment of the Supreme Court regarding autonomy of local government. The two prayers, which were approved by the lawmaker, were that all the tiers of government in the country should comply with the judgment of the Supreme Court on local government autonomy. Also, the Senate also declared its readiness to tinker with the necessary sections of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria in order to give birth to the autonomy of local government councils in Nigeria. Still on Wednesday, the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited raised its pump price of petrol in Abuja by 14.8% to 1,030 naira per litre from 897 naira it originally sold the product. The latest price increase makes it the second time petrol price had been hiked in the past 1 month. The company had in September increased pump price from 650 naira per litre to 897 naira. Correspondent in Abuja, Ken Abuja, visited one of NNPC's retail mega station in Abuja, where the price increase had been effected, reported that the new pump price shocked motorists who lamented the continuing hardship the hike in petrol prices cost the country. He also reported that some of the residents who had been in queue for almost several hours said they didn't know they had increased the price. The Tinubu-led administration seemed not concerned about the hardship and suffering the citizens are going through. On Thursday, the federal government declared that it has put in place approximate measures to simplify tax remittance process in the country. The Accountant General of the Federation, Oluwatoyin Maiden, and the Executive Chairman, Federal Inland Revenue Service, Zaka Adedeji, gave the assurance at the stakeholder meeting in Abuja. The stakeholder meeting, organized by the Federal Inland Revenue Service, brought together Accountant General from over 30 states of the Federation. Addressing the participant, the Executive Chairman, Federal Inland Revenue Service, Zaka Adedeji, disclosed the government has initiated necessary measures to simplify tax remittance process, particularly through the centralized payment system, where Office of Accountant General of the Federation owed payment on behalf of government agencies. Still on Thursday, the Court of Appeal Abuja Division affirmed Martin Amayule as the recognized Speaker of the Rivers State House of Assembly, a three-member panel of the Court of Appeal in a unanimous judgment dismissed the appeal filed by Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara for lacking in merit. Correspondent Kalojo reported that the court in Abuja said Fubara had no basis to bring out the appeal, having withdrawn his opposition to the case of the pro-Wike lawmakers of the Federal High Court. Justice Joseph Olubunmi Kayode who delivered the lead judgment, held that the governor, having withdrawn from the case, cannot claim to be aggrieved with the judgment of the Federal High Court. Consequently, the Court of Appeal barred Fubara from intervening with affairs of the House of Assembly under the control of the Speaker. The Appellate Court also barred him from withholding the House of Assembly fund and removing the clerk and deputy clerk from the House. Similarly, the Court of Appeal ordered him to represent the budget of the state of the House under the recognized Speaker, as contained in the judgment of Justice James Omotosho of the Federal High Court.
On Friday, the President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, declared the market forces will stabilize the price of fuel soon. Akpabio, who made the declaration while speaking with Senate correspondent, urged market forces on the regulation of which, according to him, would not lead to significant increase in fuel price. Correspondent Kolojo reported that Akpabio explained that the removal of the petroleum subsidy is a necessary step to redirect funds to more critical areas. He spoke in response to a question on the recent fuel prices by the Nigeria National Petroleum Corporation Limited. Akpabio stated that the removal of subsidy would mean that Nigerians would need to tighten their belts. He added that an increase in product availability would eventually lead to lower prices. Lastly, on Friday, Vice President Kashim Shettima inaugurated the National Road Safety Advisory Council NARSAC with the charge on members to align with global best practices in reducing traffic crashes. He therefore tasked the Council to set national road safety strategy targets and ensure effective coordination between federal, state and local government to achieve shared road safety objectives. Speaking during the ceremony at the Presidential Villa Abuja, Vice President Shettima emphasized the critical nature of road safety, stating road safety is not merely a matter of policy but a critical part of the lifeline that connects the people to this nation. Earlier in his remark, the Corps Marshal of the Federal Road Safety Corps, Shehu Mohammed, who is also Secretary to the Advisory Council, said the inauguration of the body opens a new vista in road safety management in Nigeria, including fast-tracking implementation of the Nigeria Road Safety Strategy, which is the country's response to the call for safe use of the road. And that's it from Tracking the Week.
Now, we move to the international desk for more news.
This is news from the international scene. The UN peacekeeping force in southern Lebanon says Israeli tanks forced their way into one of its positions early on Sunday morning, the latest in a series of incidents in recent days. In a statement, the UN interim force in Lebanon, UNIFIL, said to Israel Defense Forces IDF tanks destroyed the main gate of a post in Ramiyah near the border with Israel and forcibly entered the position to request its turnout its light. About 2 hours later, it said rounds were fired nearby that saw smoke enter the camp, causing 15 peacekeepers to suffer skin irritations and gastrointestinal reactions. These incidents were a shocking violation, it said. The statement comes after Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu urged UNIFIL to move away from areas where fighting was taking place immediately. In a video statement issued by his office on Sunday, Benjamin Netanyahu told UNIFIL to get the troops out of harm's way, claiming that their presence in the region made them hostages of Hezbollah. Israel has faced international condemnation for previous instances in which UNIFIL troops have been injured in southern Lebanon, with the IDF admitting responsibility for firing towards UN posts in some cases. Ukraine's Human Rights Ombudsman has denounced the alleged execution of 9 captured Ukrainian troops by Russian forces in the Kursk border region. Dmitry Lubinet said he had written to the United Nations and the Red Cross about the allegations, accusing Moscow of breaching all the rules and customs of war. The intervention follows reporting by Ukrainian battlefield analysis site Deep State, which published drone footage purporting to show the dead troops, which it said were drone operators. Officials in Russia have yet to comment on the allegations. Kyiv is believed to have deployed thousands of troops into the Russian border region since it launched this shocking incursion earlier this summer. The images published by Deep State show the dead Ukrainian troops stripped to their underwear and laying face down in what appeared to be a farmland in Kursk. Newsmen cannot independently verify the images. The outlet said the drone's operators had been overrun by a rapid Russian advance. These actions must not go unpunished and the enemy must bear full responsibility. Lubinet wrote in a message on Telegram, the international community should not turn a blind eye to such crimes. Kyiv has frequently accused Russia of executing captured Ukrainian troops. a war crime under the Geneva Convention. Earlier this month, the Prosecutor General's office alleged the Russian forces had executed 93 Ukrainian soldiers since the beginning of the conflict. At least 8 people have died and thousands are stranded without power after violent storms swept across Brazil on Friday. Central and southeastern parts of the country have been hit by winds of up to 100 km per hour and daily rainfall reaching up to 10 centimeters, according to the National Institute of Meteorology on Sunday. 7 people are known to have died in Sao Paulo, Brazil's most populated state, mainly due to falling trees and infrastructure from those strong winds and heavy rainfall. Residents in the southeastern state described the unexpected downpour as brief but really intense. Blackout have engulfed large parts of Sao Paulo state since Friday, with water supply problems also reported. The energy firm Enel has said more than 1.3 million homes and businesses are still without electricity. In the capital, Brasilia, 1 soldier was killed and another injured at the military police headquarters. The rain was so intense, local media reported that officials inside the Chamber of Deputies, the lower house of Brazil's Congress, was forced to use umbrellas inside as water leaked through the roof. Still on the international scene, the first black central bank governor of South Africa, who later went on to become finance minister, has died at the age of 65. Tito Mboweni had suffered a short illness, the presidency confirmed on Saturday evening without specifying further. We have lost a leader and compatriot who had served our nation as an activist, economic policy innovator and champion of labor rights, President Cyril Ramaphosa said. Mboweni's family said they were devastated and that he had died in a hospital in Johannesburg surrounded by his loved ones. A former anti-apartheid activist, Mboweni spent almost a decade in exile in Lesotho, where he attended university. That was followed by a master's degree in the University of East Anglia in the UK. He returned to South Africa in 1990, then served as the first Labour minister under President Nelson Mandela, playing a key role in shaping most apartheid labour laws. These laid the foundation for collective bargaining agreement and labour courts to protect workers' rights. He gained a reputation for being a principled and ready to debate issues openly. Mboweni's penchant for wearing battered clothes and shoes only added to his earnest public profile. The cost of borrowing money to buy a home is unlikely to return to the low levels since over the past decade, the boss of the UK's largest mortgage lender has said. Charlie Nunn, chief executive of Lloyds Bank, said the bank expected mortgage rates to come down, but not to the near-zero rate they were during the 2010s. The rates charged in new fixed mortgage deals has risen in recent years as a result of an increase in interest rates to try to slow soaring price rises sparked by COVID pandemic and Russia's invasion of Ukraine. And why they have fallen recently after a cut in interest rate, brokers have warned the trend could come to an abrupt halt. On Friday, the average 2-year fixed mortgage rate was 5.36%, according to the financial information company Moneyfacts. A 5-year deal was 5.05%. Asked on the program if cheap mortgage deals were ever going to come back, Nunn said, "We do think mortgage rates are going to continue to come down, but getting back to the level we saw in the last decade where interest rates were down to zero, I think is unlikely," he said. Lastly, on the international scene, Elon Musk's Starship rocket has completed a world first after part of it was captured on its return to the launch pad. The SpaceX vehicle's lower half maneuvered back beside its launch tower, where it was caught in a giant pair of mechanical arms as part of its first test flight. It brings SpaceX's ambition to developing a fully reusable and rapidly deployable rocket a big step closer. A day for the history books, engineers at SpaceX declared as the booster landed safely. The chances of the bottom part of the rocket, known as a Super Heavy booster, being caught so cleanly on the first attempt seemed slim. Prior to the launch, SpaceX team said it would not be surprised if the booster was indeed directed to land in the Gulf of Mexico. SpaceX can now point to some extraordinary achievements in the past test flight. This comes less than a year after its inaugural flight, which saw the vehicle blown apart not long after launch. And that's it from the international scene.
And that is all we have for you. We thank you so much for watching. My name is Ereba Misalako. Do have a great week ahead.